My name is Peter Schiff, and I'm the CEO of Euro-Pacific Capital, although I'm better known as having been one of the few voices who very publicly and accurately forecast the financial crisis of 2008, the housing bubble that preceded it, and the Great Recession that followed. Among my many forecasts were that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, two government-sponsored enterprises at the heart of the housing bubble, would in fact go bankrupt. And I also forecast that Congress would make the mistake of bailing them out. Now, I bring this up now in the hopes that what I have to say, these warnings will not fall on deaf ears, although judging by how few congressmen have shown up, unfortunately not too many are listening. In fact, this very hearing proves that Congress still doesn't understand the problem or its culpability in creating it. Now, I'm not saying that Congress acted alone in inflating the housing bubble. It had a lot of help from the Federal Reserve. They supplied most of the air, and that's probably the subject of another hearing. But we cannot underestimate the role that this body played in enabling millions of Americans to buy houses they could not afford based on government-guaranteed mortgages. These are loans that never would have been made but for those guarantees. And ironically, it's not even the home buyers that benefited from the subsidies. It was the housing industry. It was the sellers, home builders. They got to sell the overpriced homes. Realtors got commissions on it. Bankers got fees on it. And it's no coincidence that the same lobbyists that benefit at the taxpayers and the economy's expense are back again looking for more. Right? Well, I'm here. I don't represent any industry. See, I represent the American taxpayer who's on the hook for all this. I don't want to pay for this. Contrary to what's been said, these loan guarantees do not come without costs. Look at how much the defaults cost the taxpayers already on Fannie and Freddie, and we haven't even seen the final price tag. Look, if you guys want to guarantee mortgages, do it with your money. Don't do it with mine. But the actual price is just the tip of the iceberg on the cost. When Congress diverts our resources to the housing market, it diverts them away from other sectors of the economy, sectors where the free market would have otherwise put those resources. And so the economy suffers. Americans have to live and work in an economy that is far less productive as a result of congressional meddling. Rather than figuring out ways to expand government's involvement and compound the damage, let's actually undo it. How about talking about ways of getting the government out of the housing market, out of the mortgage finance market? We're broke. Maybe you haven't noticed this as you're spending taxpayer money. How about just shutting down the Department of Housing? It's a waste of money. Why don't we get rid of the FHA? Get rid of Fannie and Freddie. They've done enough damage already. We can't afford to perpetuate these problems. We need to get the government out so that we can bring the free market in. Unfortunately, the financial crisis, the economic collapse, it's only just started, right? We've seen the overture. The opera is about to play out. Rather than sitting around and trying to figure out how we can pour more gasoline on this fire, I'm here to talk to you about ways of putting it out. And if we really want to talk economics and not politics and not try to find ways to make all these lobbyists happy, right, and try to get reelected, let's actually do something for the American public, for the taxpayers of this country that pay all your salaries. And I'm happy to sit here as long as you want and answer all the questions you have on exactly what we need to do to turn this economy around, to turn the housing market around. And you might not like what I have to say, but what I have to say is correct and it's going to work. And I thank you for inviting me here.